Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi with Faith Spotlight. Joining me today is Janet Lymer, who is Executive Director of the Calgary Catholic Education Foundation. Thanks for joining us today, Janet.
Thank you so much for having me today, Mario. It's always a pleasure.
Well, let's start by just giving me an overview of what the foundation is and what it does.
Absolutely. Foundation was created back in 2008, to address the lack of funding that was going to occur from the fact that casino fundraisers were no longer permitted within Catholic entities. Yeah. So by lack of funding, I do mean decrease in funding towards Catholic entities, especially our Catholic schools. So we were created by an amazing group of trustees and community leaders who came together, who wanted to fill that void to ensure that Catholic education in Calgary continued to support equity in education. We don't want our students to miss out on anything. Basically, education funding has decreased over the years. It has not really kept up with inflation, and our students need more and more resources. Our teachers in our schools are fabulous, but there is a lack of certain equity items in the schools that make it for a great experience for all students.
Yeah, so as we know that the casino money at that time, like for any organizations out there, fund a lot of different things. So the money that has been raised through the foundation, first of all, how much in total has been given out in grants since the beginning, since 2009?
So since 2009, the Calgary Catholic Education Foundation has awarded over $3.3 million in grants to the schools of the Calgary Catholic School District. Currently, that school district has 117 schools and over 57,000 students, making it the third largest in the province.
So what kind of things, maybe if you could explain that, what kind of things does this money go towards?
Absolutely. So we know that basic education covers the basic education of the curriculum requirements. However, as we saw during the pandemic, when students in schools have to suddenly pivot and go from in-person learning to online learning, well, how is the child supposed to learn online if there's no access to a portable device, for example? Makes it a little difficult, especially if the household has 3 or 4 kids and mom and dad are working from home. Who gets access to that computer first? Yeah. Right? So that's one thing that we do fund. We do provide monies to the schools for portable devices such as Chromebooks or iPads. But we've also funded playgrounds. There's such an integral part of a childhood and to your community, right? It brings vibrancy to your community. Or perhaps school field trips to Campus Calgary Open Minds, which is an opportunity for students to learn outside of the classroom environment for a week at a designated location, such as the Calgary Zoo, or even downtown at City Hall, or perhaps at Sparks Telus Center. Those opportunities are not always available to every student in the school district in our Calgary area that includes Airdrie, Chestermere, Rockyview and Cochrane, right? We want to give those opportunities to those students. It could be that we're providing the opportunity for schools such as Our Lady of Lourdes, a downtown school that has a very small population because of the high needs of those children. We provide them the opportunity to have theater, resident theater in their school so that they can actually get the experience of putting on a theater production.
Mm-hmm. Janet, who have been some of the key supporters of this foundation from the beginning, whether that's individuals or companies?
Absolutely. So our founders included Lyndon Clayton Moitas, Lucy Miller, who is the former chief superintendent of the school district, along with her husband, Blaine, and the Valentines were key supporters, as well as many other people, the late Lois Burt Gaffney, the late Ted Valentine, and such. They were really key supporters in helping define us and helping getting us set up so that we can provide these opportunities to the students.
What does it mean for the students to have these additional opportunities in place?
It's absolutely. So I'll just speak to one of our grants that we gave this year, which was to St. John 23rd School. They had the project to revitalize and reimagine what their learning commons would look like. So for some of us who didn't grow up with the learning commons, it was basically the school library.
Yeah.
And now it does so much more. So, so they wanted to reimagine it to be more reflective of not only the diversity of their school, but also to integrate our Indigenous cultures that surround us. So on Treaty 7. And what they did was they wanted to represent the 4 directions. So east, west, north, and south. Yeah. So they brought in artist Caleb Teak Dan, I hope I said his name right, and Rick Wolcott, who's a Salish artist, a Salish carver, and they've put in beautiful designs in the school, both as a mural and as a carving. They also got a loan from the Glenbow Museum from an Inuit piece, and they're now working on an Eastern Indigenous piece to bring in. What does that mean to the students in the school? We had the opportunity to interview some of the students who are Indigenous. And one of the students, he said to us on camera and off camera as well, he goes, it was so great for me to see an Indigenous artist with long hair that represented my culture. Yeah. So for a child to be able to see themselves reflected in the adults, in the structures around them, that just brings more dignity to the person, which at the core is our faith of Catholicity. We want to always have that dignity of person. So this project was integral to the student population to be able to see Indigenous artists at work, to see themselves reflected, but also very welcoming to the new Canadians who join us in and amongst all of our schools, who want to be able to see that Canada truly is a diverse nation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I assume then the more money that comes in on an annual basis, the more money that that can be kind of rolled out.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. It is a challenge. And one of the challenges that we face, of course, is that we are faith-based, but we do support the 3rd largest publicly funded school system, which has approximately 40% of the student population in the Calgary area. Mm-hmm. Catholics represent 25% of the province. We are entitled by constitutional right to publicly funded Catholic system. And it has a fantastic graduation rate. You know, we do so much for the students in our, as a foundation. Of course, we do not fund anything that's in the school, such as, you know, the building, the electricity, the staffing. We're not allowed to touch any of that. But to be able to upgrade things in schools, to give the students the opportunity to really work with assets that are current. We recently did a project at Father Lagome High School where we upgraded their theater lighting production center. Yeah. And students started learning on, you know, devices that, for all intents purposes, you and I, when we went to university, or high school, they were probably around, and it's what they were learning off of. But the reality is, if they wanted to go into that sector further on, they're learning on old tools. We cannot teach today's students with yesterday's tools. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. And we really want to ensure that if the school needs an upgrade to the stage lighting, that they can come to the foundation and get it. If the school needs to revitalize its learning commons, let's do it. If the schools need the opportunity to have more diverse reading materials, let's do it. Right? We do have our biggest fundraiser every year, which is through the Diocese of Calgary, which was one of our key cornerstones to the foundation being set up. We had the blessing of Emeritus Bishop Henry, who put us on this path and said, you know, we will give it to the Catholic community to come to respond to this call, to ensure that we're not using casino funds, because they do cause a detriment to the family unit. They are a social injustice.
And the Catholic community has responded, right?
They have responded. They have responded in spades. We just recently held our gala, which was open to the Catholic community. We had representatives from the parishes, from the diocese, obviously from the school district, as well as our great funders and donors. And the sense going out of there that night was that it was such a welcome need to celebrate the beauty of Catholic education and what we're doing here.
And truth be known, my wife and I were there, and it was a very enjoyable evening. And look forward to the next one. But I just wanted to ask you, Janet, one last thing. So how can people donate if they want to donate?
Absolutely. We are a foundation, charitable foundation. So we are CRA registered. So we do issue tax receipts. On our website, we do have many ways to donate. Currently, we are a matching charity with the Shaw Birdies for Kids, presented by AltaLink. We are a matching partner there where donations received through Birdies for Kids in our name can be matched by up to 50%. This is ongoing until August 31st. We also have the ability to set up, whether you want to be a one-time donor, a monthly donor, a yearly donor, we can help you set that up. We can also help discuss, a legacy of learning. Maybe, Catholic education is real passionate for you and you'd like to leave a gift in your name for future generations. We can work with you on that. And of course, most recently, we're very happy to say we can take stocks and bonds. So that's something new for us, and our good friends over at Canada Helps are able to process those payments for us. We do have several events that come up through the year. We always enjoy participating in Catholic Education Sunday, which this year will be November 5th and 6th throughout the 45 parishes within the Calgary, Chestermere, Airdrie, and Cochrane areas. Last year, we had 151 readers at all the Mass times, which was great because they're giving the testimony of Catholic education. That goes through your parishes. We do appreciate the donations that we do get because that does help us build our ability to grant to the schools. Last year, we were able to give 125,000. We would certainly like to make it bigger because the reality is that's about 1/10 of what the other board receives from their foundation down the road from us. So we know that Calgary can come together. When you're hiring a Catholic student, you're getting the best that our school system has. So please support us because we do know that supporting children in the early years is kind of like what my mother used to say, an ounce of prevention, right? If you invest in kids from K to 12, we are not going to have the social economic costs that come later in life because they weren't well supported as students, right? So we also have our upcoming charity golf event. It is the 37th annual district golf tournament in support of the Calgary Catholic Education Foundation. There's more information on our website. Entry is $200 per person. That includes a $50 donation. It is, Mario, if I do say so myself, the best charity golf tournament you will participate in this summer. We have lots of fun out there from start to finish. Everybody goes away with a smile on their face. And at $200, it is the best bang for your golf club this summer as far as charity golf tournaments go in this city. So please do come and join us on August 23rd. We're going to have lots of fun. Spalumbo's is one of our great we love Tony and the crew at Spalumbo's. He's one of our great supporters. So lunch is by Spalumbo's that day. We have a steak dinner at the end, and we have our friends from Rock Brewery are going to be on site, and lots of games and fun. And it's going to be held at Blue Devil this year.
All right, super then. Well, thanks very much, Janet, for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having you. Thank you so much for having me, Mario. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for believing in Catholic education.
You bet. Thanks very much. That was Janet Lymer, who is Executive Director of the Calgary Catholic Education Foundation. I'm Mario Toneguzzi with Faith Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.